Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Western Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. We are excited that you're here. We have a great group of colleges and presenters lined up for you this evening. We're excited to share information that will hopefully help with your college search and transfer process. So just a few housekeeping things from me before we get started. First, your cameras and microphones are turned off, so don't worry, we can't see you or hear you. Hopefully you can see and hear us okay though. If for some reason you can't, just send us a message using the Q&A button on your Zoom toolbar, and we'll be happy to help troubleshoot that with you. Speaking of the Q&A button, that is really your best way to engage with our presenters this evening. So as you have questions throughout the session, feel free to drop those in the Q&A button at any point, starting now, before they present, while they're presenting, or after. We will be monitoring those questions all throughout the session and are happy to respond as they come in. Don't forget, there are more sessions being offered right after this, so be sure to check the StriveScan website where you signed up for any additional sessions you might be interested in, as well as all the sessions are being recorded and will be posted at that same website as well within about a week or so. So before I turn it over to our panelists, I want to show you our schedule for this evening. Sorry, that's the wrong one. So we are at the top left corner, session B1. So we have 6 universities. We have Middlesex University, London, Richmond, the American International University in London, Goldsmiths, University of London, London Metropolitan University, University of Stirling, Scotland, and University of Dundee. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Middlesex University, London to kick things off.
Thank you. Let me just share my screen. Awesome. Hopefully all of you can see it. So hi, everyone. My name is Gabriella, and I'm the Americas and Caribbean Regional Officer at Middlesex University, London. I'm based in New York, and I basically help students and families navigate the application process. I was also a student at Middlesex University, and so I'm a very big advocate of British education. So Middlesex is a British university located in northwest London, about 20 minutes into central London by tube. It's located in an area called Hendon, which is residential and quite suburban. And in my opinion, it's the best of both worlds because your doorsteps from central London, where you can spend a good portion of your time, yet in an area where accommodation is a bit more affordable with a big campus that has green areas and sports facilities. I constantly remind students that London has a place for everyone. There's a great wealth of cultural opportunities like museums with free entrance, by the way, West End theater, libraries, parks, but London is also a very vibrant city with impressive nightlife, world-renowned restaurants, architecture, and a perfect combination of present, past, and future. London is also the hub of arts, culture, and business with countless global businesses, and more than half of the Fortune 500 companies are based there, not to mention groundbreaking research. By the way, the bottom left image is a photo of Camden Market, which is just 15 minutes south of the university by tube. So let's get to know the uni a bit. We have 3 academic schools that teach over 300 industry relevant programs. The faculties are art and creative industries with programs such as design, performing arts, visual arts, and media programs as well. Then there's the professional and social sciences, which teaches law, business, and health and education programs. And finally, the faculty of science and technology, and that teaches programs in psychology, computer science, natural sciences, engineering, maths, and also sports science as well. All of our programs are taught practically with employment in mind and are internationally recognized. They do not include general education modules, which is why higher education in the UK is typically more specialized and more major focused. And for all of these reasons, over 90% of our graduates are employed or pursuing higher education merely 6 months after completing their degree. So for those of you wishing to transfer to Middlesex, you will just need to prove that the learning outcomes of your college classes are the same as what we teach in year 1. So this is something that you can prove by sending us a copy of your transcripts, and be mindful of the fact that these applications are assessed by the faculty. So please allow enough time for processing. We are still taking applications for September 2021 starters. So you just need to apply via UCAS and select year 2 as your starting term. These are their scholarships. We do have scholarships and regional awards. The tuition fees in the UK are generally lower than many US and private out-of-state options. And also consider that you're only paying for 3 years instead of 4 years, which is what would normally take in the US. This requires a separate application form after receiving an offer of place in the course. And we can also administer USDE and private US loans at Middlesex University. So it can typically be a bit more affordable as well. And students can also students can also work while they study. Middlesex has great student support from the moment even before you apply and all the way through the student stage and all 3 years and beyond. We give student support in areas like academics, obviously, but also mental health and well-being and welfare and a number of other areas. We also have clubs and societies that students can join to make their student experience far greater. And graduates can also benefit from a strong alumni network and lifelong employability service. So these are some photos of our halls of residence, which are nothing like a dorm. Each bedroom has a private bathroom and shared living room and kitchen. They include all bills, a weekly cleaner for the shared living spaces, and have very good links to central London and obviously to the university as well. So please stay in touch with me. You can scan the QR code and fill out that contact form or email me directly and I'll be happy to help you going forward. Just a last minute highlight, if you know what you want to study and you'd like to have practical teaching with an 18:1 teacher to student ratio, affordable fees and living in one of the most vibrant cities in the world, you should definitely consider applying to Middlesex University, London. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Gabriella. Okay, sorry, my screen is being slow. Next up, we are going to Richmond, the American International University in London.
Hi, everybody. All right. Let me just get this going here. Okay, there we are. So yeah, we are Richmond, the American International University in London. I know it's quite a mouthful. Usually I just say Richmond. My name is Victoria. I'm the Assistant Manager of Operations, and I'm based in our US Admissions Office. I'm also a graduate of Richmond myself, so happy to answer any questions you may have about the student experience. So, one big point about Richmond, Richmond is the only university, we always say in the UK, but actually pretty much in the world, that awards both a US and a UK degree. So students graduate with both the degrees. This gives you some more options if you want to come back to the States to pursue graduate work, or if you want to stay in the UK, it gives you a little bit of flexibility there. And it's pretty cool. We call it like a little 2-for-1. So, why Richmond? Why not Richmond, I like to say. We are a small university, so we have our small class sizes, which is really great because your professor knows who you are, which is a little intimidating at first, but is really helpful if you need references and just support. It comes in handy. We also have our integrated internships. That's a big part of our program. We have an office for internships that students can connect with to figure out when would make the most sense for them. Whether it be in the fall, summer, spring, and a variety of locations, whether in London or elsewhere in the world. We have a diverse student population. About 30% of the student population comes through our office, the US Admissions Office, another 30% from the UK, Europe, and then another 30% the rest of the world. So it really is quite an international environment. We offer merit-based scholarships, and they're strictly GPA-based. They're pretty straightforward. There's no additional application you have to complete to be considered. It's all just part of the application process. If you qualify for it, you receive it. As well, all our students receive personal academic advisors, and that leads as well to the high contact hours. Study abroad opportunities. I always find it funny when we talk about study abroad, because you're like already studying abroad. But if you'd like to study abroad ×2, then you are totally welcome to do so, whether you want to come back to the States or elsewhere in Europe or in the world. Of course, we have on-campus accommodation, and we like to highlight that you have choice, you have flexibility in with the liberal arts program. So speaking of our scholarships, here is that breakdown of what is awarded. Richmond tuition is $38,000 per year. So these scholarships are pretty generous, and the average, the middle scholarship basically slices tuition in half. As well as we have one for students right under 3.0 and for students above 3.5. So that does help, I think, in kind of making your decision. We acknowledge that there is a little something extra involved in leaving the States, and so we like to award students for their hard work, before they joined us. So here are the programs we offer. We have our business school, and you'll see, feel free to check out that list right there, see if there's anything of interest. As well, my home department, communications, arts, and social sciences, a number of different programs there. And all of these programs are available as minors as well. So you can kind of mix and match, either maybe do 2 parallel programs for your major and minor, or pick something outside, which can also be fun to do. So why London? I feel like a lot of people in this group probably agree that it's the social, cultural, and political capital of the world, and it's frequently voted the #1 international student city. I can completely attest that it is an incredibly student-friendly city. There's so much going on, so many opportunities for students that I think that's a part of the experience, is to take part and enjoy the city that you're in. So study abroad opportunities. As you can see, there's some images giving you some hints, some ideas about the opportunities we have. But here's a little more detail about where you can go. As well, if you're familiar with another program, if we don't have a partnership with it, there's always an opportunity to talk to our team and see if that's something that we can work out for you. But there's also a ton of programs already established. And here are some clubs and societies. We are a small university, so we do have a smaller number of clubs and societies. But one thing that I like about Richmond is we're super supportive of, if you are trying to start a new club, a new organization, if you need support, funding, or just help getting the word out to fellow students, Student Affairs is super supportive in doing that. As well, we have our university events. It is fun. We do have a lot of the American holidays, and so it is a little interesting to celebrate them in a brand new context. Here are our entry requirements. GPA, application is pretty simple, transcript, essay, letter of reference. You can apply through the Common App or the direct application on our website, and we've always been test optional, as it's not a common form of evaluation in the UK. So there you go, a little more info about how to apply. And there's my contact information. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. I would be happy to discuss and share my experience. Thank you for watching and joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you, Victoria. Okay, next up, we are going to Goldsmiths, University of London.
Hey, everyone. My name is Will. I'm the international officer at Goldsmiths, University of London, and I'm personally based in Brooklyn, New York, but we are continuing our tour of London, going southeast now to our campus at Goldsmiths. So we are part of the prestigious University of London. We're one of the constituent colleges of the university. We were founded in 1891 and have been part of UOL since 1904. We're a medium-sized institution of around 10,000 students, but extremely diverse. 35% of our students come from outside of the UK. Nearly half our students are students of color, and we have the largest LGBTQ+ population among UK universities at 17%, and also a really sizable first-generation population. Our student faculty ratio, though, is 14:1. So for a school of our size, you're definitely going to encounter really small class sizes. We have no large lecture halls on campus, so you'll never encounter a 100 or 200 person lecture. All of your courses will have less than 30 students. We also have 55 research centers and units on campus and put a really large emphasis on that for undergraduate students. And lastly, we have implemented a Green New Deal on our campus. So we have done things like banning beef in all of our restaurants and cafes, banning single-use plastics, divesting our endowment from fossil fuels, all to reach 90% carbon neutrality by 2025. And our campus is located on a single site, so all of your undergraduate coursework will happen inside that orange line there. On our main campus in New Cross, which is in Southeast London, we're a really short train ride to the center of the city. It's about 10 minutes from our train station at New Cross Gate into central London. You'll notice we have residence halls on campus and just off campus, so it's always a quick commute from your hall of residence to your courses. On campus, we have a public movie theater, a public museum, a gym, tennis courts, tons of restaurants and cafes, and the local area is extremely vibrant with tons of music venues, art galleries. Goldsmiths is consistently ranked as one of the most political and creative universities by students in the UK. So it really lends to an interesting campus environment, and the surrounding area is a really dynamic neighborhood. Our academics focus on the fine and performing arts and humanities, which we are ranked among the top 100 schools in the world for. We also do social sciences, business and management, law, education, among other programs. 8 of our 18 departments are among the world's top 50, and 8 of them are also among the UK's top 30. And we are ranked number 21 in the UK for the quality and significance of our research. And we, like I said before, put really heavy emphasis on undergraduate students doing research from their first year on campus. Education in England, you've already heard a little bit about it from my colleague at Middlesex, but we do have 3 years to complete a bachelor's degree. So if you are looking to transfer, oftentimes you can move into your second year, so it will essentially shave off the first year of school. We do have direct entry, so when you are applying to our programs, you should be choosing the correct degree program from the outset. But you can also have the potential to earn a master's degree in just 1 year. So it makes the UK really attractive for students from the US. Because it's a shorter, more focused degree that's really kind of specialized on one particular subject, or 2 subjects if that's what you've chosen. Also, we do have a post-study work visa in the UK, which will allow you to remain in the country for up to 2 years after you graduate, which can definitely lead to amazing career opportunities, especially in a city like London. Here is a non-exhaustive list of our programs. We have 75 undergraduate degrees total, but this will give you an idea of what you can study at Goldsmiths. Some popular degree programs are our Fine Art and Design program, our Media Communications program, which includes our Screen School for Film and Television, and our Journalism School, Computer Science, Psychology, Public Relations, and our Politics International Relations program, things like that. The application is entirely through UCAS. So this is how you will apply for your undergraduate degree at Goldsmiths. The UCAS application is similar to the Common App, but it's an aggregate application for all UK schools. We are test optional, but we do require a 3.0 unweighted GPA from both your high school and college transcripts to apply. And the application also includes, for some programs, a portfolio or audition and interview, depending on what you're applying for. But as a transfer student, we can definitely evaluate your transcripts and see how you can enter the university either as a second-year student or as a first-year student if you don't have enough credits to progress into the 3-year degree program. Tuition ranges from around, I'll convert it for you, about $20,000 to about $27,000, depending on the program you're studying. We do offer international scholarships for students and accept federal loans. And you can also work during your time in the UK on a student visa, which can definitely offset some costs for you. Our accommodation is going to be mixed gender, and we do tend to house undergraduate and postgraduate students separately. We guarantee accommodation for you in your first year on campus, but after that, you will typically move into private housing. The University of London also does manage intercollegiate halls. So if you're looking to live with students from other universities in the University of London system, you can explore living in those halls that are throughout the city of London. But all of our halls are very close to campus. And lastly, we do place a really good emphasis on careers and internships at Goldsmiths, and we include work placements and internships in most of our programs. And we also have a really high entrepreneurial rate. About 14% of our students start their own business within 1 year of graduation. So thank you so much. I'll be passing it off to my next colleague, and I'll pop some information in the chat for you.
Awesome, thank you, Will. Okay, next up, we're going to London Metropolitan University.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jadon Joyner, and I'm representing London Metropolitan University. Again, my name is Jadon Joyner, and this is not how I really sound. Just please laugh at my terrible fake British accent. But in all seriousness, I'm based in Los Angeles, California, not London. And I am one of the international officers who helps students with anything and everything London Metropolitan. I have a colleague, her name is Megan Godding, and she's based on the East Coast. And again, we cover the United States with anything and everything London Metropolitan. So a little bit about London. Again, we're going to stay in London. I know we've heard a bit about it, but we are based in central London. We have two campuses, our Holloway Road campus and our Altgate campus. We have about 10,000 students, and just like some of the other schools, we have the 3-year bachelor's and 1-year master's program. And we also offer international student scholarships. We accept US financial aid and veterans benefits, and we have over 200 different undergraduate and postgraduate programs. So one thing we're really passionate about is diversity. We really believe in making the university accessible to anyone and everyone. Over 64% of our students are BAME students, which stands for Black, Asian, or Minority Ethnic students. We have over 147 different nationalities represented, and 96% of our students, staff, and faculty come from at least one underrepresented group in higher education. And so one of our famous alumnuses is Sadiq Khan, and he is the current mayor of London, literally the current mayor. He actually was just re-elected on Sunday, and he believes in London as a higher education capital of the world, and we strive to be that at London Metropolitan as well. So you've heard a few reasons why you should consider your degree in the UK. It can be often a lot more affordable when you're comparing it to private or out-of-state options. Again, we offer international student scholarships, and we have the UK post-study work visa, again, which will allow you to stay in the UK for up to 2 years after you graduate. And a lot of our friends who actually got their degrees in the UK, they ended up staying longer. So that can be an option for students. We have long breaks if you want to come back to the West Coast, long breaks like spring break and holiday breaks. And again, we accept US financial aid. We are rolling admissions, and we have no application fee. We have a flexible September and January start date, and we accept students with around a 3.0 GPA, but contact me if you want to discuss your qualifications. We also are test optional for the fall, and we offer advanced entry for transfer students. So you can come in to year 2 if you are have some similar course load. We also have a September start date and January start date again, and you can apply to us directly for free, or you can apply to us through UCAS, which is the UK Common App. So a little bit about London. This is an aerial picture from our Holloway Road campus. Our Holloway Road campus is kind of our human sciences, social sciences, business classes. It's kind of our flagship campus. If you want to take your PR, digital media, international relations, all of that will be at the Holloway Road campus. It's home to our Super Lab. We're right next to Emirates Stadium, which is home to Arsenal football. If you want to take the train to Hogwarts or to Paris, you can do that. It's a 5-minute tube ride away from our Holloway Road campus. This is a picture of our Altgate campus, which is located in East London, which houses more of our artistic majors, our architecture, design, theater, fashion, all of those very artistically inclined majors. And now I'm going to go through a couple pictures. This is our 30 million pound Super Lab, which is one of the largest in Europe. This is one of our learning centers, which I think does a really good job of combining some of the old elements of London and the more IKEA-esque modern architecture. Some more of our cutting edge classrooms. This is one of our some of our TV studios and newsrooms. We have architecture and design studios that all the students have access to, and this is all work by our students. Gyms, sports halls, dance studios. We have cafes, bars, chill out zones, and it's really great being a student in London. As you may know, London was ranked the #1 city for international study because of all of the international students that are located in London. You get discounts to go to different things around the city as a London Metropolitan student. So you can go to shows on West End, which is kind of like the UK version of Broadway, for super cheap. So you can go see like The Lion King for $20 versus like the $100 that I paid when I went to London. And then the last thing I always tell people to check out this video, it's do something you love. You can type it in on Google or YouTube. And it's a student-led tour that I think really gives a good feel for what it's actually like on campus. So I would definitely encourage you to check this video out. And again, my name is Jadon Joyner. If you have any questions about the university, my contact is here, but I will also put it in the chat. I look forward to speaking with you and helping you with your decision. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much. Okay, next up, we're going to the University of Stirling, Scotland.
Sorry, frozen.
That's okay.
I can't actually get my camera on at the moment, so I'll try sharing my screen.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that's not working either. So if you want to jump to Paul first at University of Dundee, and then I'll see if I can refresh this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Paul, are you ready?
Yeah, that's no bother at all.
Perfect.
I'll just share my screen. Share screen. So hopefully you guys can see this, yeah? So my name is Paul McBean and I'm the Senior International Officer here at the University of Dundee in Scotland. So you've had your tour.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We actually can't see your screen yet. We can see you, but not your screen.
Right, let me see. I think we're.
There we go.
There we are, no worries. That's better. So yes, you've had your tour of London, so now you're coming up towards Scotland. So I'll be happy to give you a little bit of information, not only on the University of Dundee, but also Scotland and what it's like to study in one of our universities. So Scotland is a destination for higher education dating back hundreds and hundreds of years. So Scotland has been teaching students from across the world since dating back to the 11th and 12th century. So when coming to Scotland, you're being part of a thriving arts and cultural scene, as well as a rich and historic heritage, whether that be education, culture, or looking forward to the technologies of the future. Scotland is a home to stunning landscapes, and we always say ourselves friendly people. The weather can often be a little cold in comparison to the West Coast in the US out in California, but we're warm people, we like to say. And we have world-leading teaching and research with the Scottish universities among some of the highest ranked in the world per capita of the country and the size of our population. We have a flexible degree structure where you can take majors with minors, double majors, as well as having a 4-year system, somewhat like the US. So Scotland sits somewhere in between the English model of 3 years and the US model of 4. So like in England, we don't have any general education either. So Dundee is the 4th largest city in Scotland. It is home to around about 150,000 people. So in terms of the US, Scottish cities are quite small, which means they're easy to get to know. It's easy to find your way around and make that kind of friendship group and build your life in the wider community. This is the Tay Bridge, which connects Dundee into the next part of Scotland, so moving in towards Fife and St Andrews, which you might have heard about. Dundee is known as the UK's city of discovery. So over the years, Dundee has been responsible for the research and development of things that have led to the discovery of aspirin, LCD technology, ATMs, though I can't remember the last time I used one with COVID, but things like Grand Theft Auto and even the postage stamp. There really is a huge experience and history in the city, and that's continued in the university. Dundee is a top 20 UK university in the most recent Guardian guides. So when you come to study at Dundee, you're getting a highly regarded education, as well as the opportunity to meet students from around the world. The tuition starts from around $26,000 per year. And as I can see, I've put my scholarships in pounds. So around £5,000 a year, students can qualify for scholarships. That's around $8,000. When looking to transfer, we typically look for a GPA of around 3.0, and we look to have relevant study modules and outcomes from your previous studies. As others have said, please do get in touch with me with your particular details, and we'll be happy to talk you through that. Students are often able to as well gain advanced entry, and we have a rolling admission. We have a direct application system on our website, and like others, you can apply on UCAS. So if you've really liked what you heard today from all of us and you're wanting to apply to a few schools, UCAS is great. Or if you're thinking Scotland and Dundee's for me, the direct application might be best for you. The University of Dundee has around 10 different academic schools. So as you can see on the right-hand side here of the slide, we have everything from the art school, the business school, dentistry, medicine, life sciences, and science and engineering. So whatever you're looking to study or whatever you are studying, Dundee will have a good fit for you. We are a research-driven institution and a practical institution. So wherever you come to study, you will get that skill and that opportunity to develop those skills that make you understand the subject area more, that get you to apply your knowledge. So hopefully when you graduate from Dundee, you can make use of your skills and get yourself, into the career that you wish. Our campus is in the city centre, so about 5-10 minutes walk from the kind of main hub of the city of Dundee. We have around 17,000 students, which makes us around a medium-sized school. Around 120 different nationalities are represented on our campus. Excuse me. And that gives you that opportunity not only to get people from across the UK, but also across the world. We have a growing North American population with students coming from the US at all levels of study. We have extensive sporting facilities and one of the best students' unions in Scotland. So the Students' Union is a great hub of all the activity on campus, and it's a great place to get to know your flatmates, get to know your friends, and find out what happens on campus. In Scotland, we do have a number of sports clubs and societies, and as you can see, we have around 250 different societies, 45 different sports clubs. The thing to remember when you come to Scotland is that the sports teams are not quite at the same intensity of varsity sports in the US. If you're competitive like me, but maybe don't like the training, then you'll find a sports club in Scotland that is offering you the opportunity to take part, get to know people. Our societies focus on everything from cultural and religious groups right the way through to hobbies and interests. So that will be me just finishing up there. So as you can see, my email is here and I'll put that in the chat. We'd be happy to find out more about your interests and help you with your next steps. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. And I see Ali got her video to work.
Got my video to work, yes. Let's hope that the screen share works as well. Okay, hopefully you can all see that.
Yes, we can.
Yes, great. Okay. I'm Ali. Like Paul, I'm based in Scotland, and in fact, I'm actually based in the city of Dundee, although I'm representing the University of Stirling tonight. I'm head of student recruitment at Stirling. So Paul has helpfully given us an overview of the Scottish system, so that saves me a job, so thanks, Paul. So a little bit about the University of Stirling. Well, it's about, it's very centrally located in Scotland, and it's a medium-sized university for Scotland. So we've got about 14,000 students from 120 different nationalities, but we have one of the largest North American populations in Scottish universities as well. We are Scotland's University for Sporting Excellence, and last year we were also voted UK Sports University of the Year. Now, a bit like what Paul was saying about competing at different levels, we actually have some of our students going over to the Olympics in Japan shortly, but there are people like myself who are not so sporty, so there is sport available at all levels, don't worry about that. We're in the top 30 in the UK, and a couple of the things that we're most proud of is we have a very high graduate employability rate. So we have more than 95% of our students, once they graduate, within the first 15 months are in graduate type employment, or they've gone on to do a master's, they've gone on to do a postgraduate study. And the other thing that we're most proud of is something called the National Student Survey. So this is voted by students, and they have to vote on teaching, learning, student experience, etc. And we're consistently ranked in the top 20 in the UK for that. So high praise indeed, because it's voted for students. So you might be wondering where we are located. So obviously Paul has already given an intro to Dundee, which is in Scotland. Where the heart is where Stirling is located. So we're very centrally located if you want to explore more of Scotland. It's not that far to the Highlands. If you want to go hill climbing, you want to go and try and find the Loch Ness Monster. We're also 25 minutes from Glasgow, which is the largest city in Scotland, and about 40 minutes from Edinburgh, which is the capital of Scotland. Although Stirling was actually the ancient capital of Scotland, so not a lot of people know that. We're a campus-based university. We've got 330 acres, and we're probably one of the most Scottish universities because we have our own loch, which is Scottish for lake. That's in the middle of the screen there. We've got our own golf course, a 9-hole golf course on campus, and we also have our own castle on campus as well. Everything that you would need is on campus. It's very much a community feel. We've got our over 2,000 halls of residence. We've got delis, we've got a pharmacy, we've got doctors, dentists. We've even got our own movie theatre on campus as well. So absolutely everything that you would need is there. We are obviously in the Scottish higher education system, which is very similar to the US system, 4-year system, and we are split across 5 faculties, but we have one of the most flexible curriculum out there. So across the 5 faculties, we've got arts and humanities, everything from journalism, film and media, politics, history, etc. Health sciences and sports, so paramedic science, obviously various sports programs, natural sciences, we've got marine biology, computing, maths, and we specialise in some of the environmental sciences, social sciences, criminology, sociology, etc. And then last but not least, Stirling Management School has everything that you would expect from a business school. So marketing, events management, economics, accountancy, etc. A bit like a lot of the universities that we've that have spoken today, we're looking for 3.0 in your GPA, and like every other university, to transfer, we'd be looking for your transcripts, so a list of your syllabus and class outlines, and it's the faculty that decides, you know, whether you would enter year 2 or year 3. In terms of the application process, if you are applying to multiple schools in the UK, you're best using the UCAS system and then selecting either year 2 or year 3, depending which year you want to enter. But if you're just wanting to apply to Stirling, then we accept direct applications, and we're also on the Common App as well. In terms of scholarships, we have an automatic scholarship for our undergraduate international students, which amounts to £2,000 fee discount per year. But we also have a wide range of other different scholarships that you can search for, including various sports scholarships, as you would expect, being UK Sports University of the Year. And there's other funding opportunities available, except the FAFSA and Sally May, etc. In terms of tuition fees, it'll depend whether it's a lab-based course or a classroom-based course. So it ranges between £15,100 and £17,900. So it's about $21,000 to $25,000 a year in tuition fees. But Stirling has one of the least expensive living costs. It's consistently ranked as one of the least expensive student cities in the UK. So, and also you are able to get a part-time job if you want. There's plentiful part-time work either on campus or in the city centre, which is about 20 minutes walk away. Average living costs, you would probably expect to spend between £8,000 and £10,000. That includes your student accommodation. In terms of our student accommodation, it's all single rooms in Stirling, and there's a mixture to suit all budgets, whether you want an ensuite or you can go for shared facilities as well. And like I say, there's delis, there's shops, there's everything that you would need on campus as well. If you want to get in touch, you can use the QR code and fill that in, or I'm happy to receive any emails. I'm happy to answer any questions on studying in Scotland or on Stirling. Thanks, Tyler.
Awesome, thank you so much. Okay, well, that wraps up our formal presentations for this evening, but we have a few extra minutes here to do some Q&A. And so I'm going to ask our presenters if you want to turn your cameras back on and join us on screen. Students, if you have any questions for our presenters, now would be a great time to drop those in Q&A, and we can use the last few minutes to answer those. In the meantime, I'm going to share my screen. and ask, first question, what advice would you give someone going through the transfer process? And we'll go in the same order that you presented in. Goldsmiths did have to run, so just know to skip them, but we'll start with Gabriella.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I'd say that my best advice would be, make sure that you've chosen the right program, and also that you've taken the same classes or aim to be taking the same classes that we teach in our first year. That would be my advice.
So Victoria from Richmond, advice to transfer students. I definitely encourage you to think about, what's most important, what you're looking for at a university, whether you want, something smaller, something larger, and what you're most passionate about. And maybe also look into kind of current student feedback and what current students are saying, whether it be, on social media or, just online elsewhere, or you could ask me.
Nice. I think that's great advice. I was a transfer student, and I would also just add to please, you know that you want to transfer. I would just say soak up everything that you can at whatever university you're trying to go to. You kind of know what you were missing before. And I would say take advantage of all the opportunities you have. And I would also add, no matter if you do a degree abroad with one of these universities or you want to do some study abroad, please travel. Please travel. There will be so little time for you to travel once you kind of get into adulthood and things like that, unless you have a job very specific with that. So please take advantage of all the travel that you can do while you are still in university.
Yeah, I think from my end, it's kind of similar things to what everyone said. I think, identify the type of program you want, but also the type of environment. In the UK, there's loads of different environments. So it's finding the right one for you. And also, feel free to get in touch. There's not a stupid question. And if it is, we've definitely heard it before. So.
Yeah, like Paul said, that's what we're here for. We're here to help. The other thing that I would say is, obviously there's lots of resources out there now. There's internet and everything. But I would say that to get the full experience, obviously moving to COVID, everyone's moved to a virtual world, and there's plenty of opportunities for virtual open days to really get a sense of each university now. So either conduct a virtual tour if you can't get there in person, or participate in one of the virtual open days and get a sense of, and ask current students and academics what it really is like to study there.
Great advice. Thank you all for sharing. Okay, I think we have time for one more question, and that is, what is your favorite event or tradition on your campus?
Definitely at Middlesex, the beginning and the end. So the first day, the first International Student Arrival Day to us is great, and also graduation for sure.
I would have to say International Night. The closest thing I can compare it to would be like a talent show, but I don't think that's really fair. Just because we have such a diverse student population that you're getting to see, your fellow classmates, maybe even people who aren't normally involved in the arts, share, some of their culture through dance or music or what have you. So it's just a really fun night out for the university.
Definitely going to steal Gabriella's. Definitely kind of the first day. It's almost like Love Actually. It's just a whole bunch of people arriving at Heathrow Airport, and you just get a chance to meet all your classmates from all over the world. And we have a scavenger hunt around the city, so you get a chance to know the city even better. So I think international orientation is definitely one of my favorite events in London Met.
So I'm quite new to Dundee, but one of the things I'm kind of most excited about getting involved with is the art school showcase. As someone who has no artistic skill, I think it's always really impressive to see the kind of designs and the creativity.
So again, being such a Scottish university, I have to say Burns Night. So for those of you who don't know, Robert Burns is the national poet of Scotland, and on the 25th of January every year, we Scots celebrate his birthday by eating haggis and drinking whiskey. I should probably say. And we generally have, certainly for our international students, we tend to have celebrations round about that date, including Ceilidhs and Scottish dancing.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing. That's all the time that we have for this evening. So students, thank you so much for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a very quick 4-question survey. If you don't mind completing that, we'd really appreciate any feedback that you have. Don't forget, there's another round of sessions right after this. So check that StriveScan website where you signed up for any additional sessions you might be interested in, as well as all the session recordings will be posted there within about a week or so as well. So thanks again for joining us. Have a great evening, and we will see you in the next session.